Public figures occupy our spaces, and sometimes, much to our chagrin, they also take our spaces. It happens. Hello and welcome to this episode of the PR Coach. Thank you so much for viewing. By the way, the viewership of the last episode was very, very high. Thank you so much. I love it. But I'm still worried about the subscription. You guys must subscribe. And thank you very much for sharing. Share some more. Now, today's episode really speaks about what personal brands can do, and that's what celebrities and famous people are. Some of them could even be politicians. They take up space. And I think we give them that space, by the way, but the fact is that they take up space. So on Tuesday evening in African time and Tuesday afternoon in the US, one Tiger Woods was involved in a car accident. And that was world news. World news. Did you hear what I was saying? Whether you went to Australia or to Venezuela, whether it was CNN or the BBC or Al Jazeera or Nigerian, This Day or South African Business Times or whatever it is, Tiger Woods occupied that space. Now you can be sure that before that episode of his accident, there was something else that was going to be in the news. And then Tiger Woods rolled his car down, a ditch, and something fell off. He took somebody else's space, inadvertently so. That's what happens. That's what happens with brands, whether we like it or we don't. But there's something else that happens with brands. They have detractors as they do have defenders. When I woke up on the Wednesday after his accident, there was a lot of banter from his detractors and from his banters. The detractors were starting to speculate. Could he have been under the influence of something? Was he speeding? And of course there were like those who just did not like the man, like shut up about Tiger Woods. There are many other people in accidents. Of course, ignoring the fact that it would have been the same even if it was their idol. I don't know who their idol is. It could have been Madonna. It could have been the Queen of England. They would have still made news the same way as Tiger Woods made news. The defenders were out there defending stuff that, in fact, some of them did not even know, but repeating the PR from Tiger Woods' office, trying to make us feel that that accident could not have been his mistake or it was not as bad as it was. Fact is, by the time we got to know about this accident, we did not know enough. I suspect as time goes on, we'll know a bit more, but that information mostly will come from one person. The guy who was in that car, which was Tiger Woods. And he's okay now. We now know the news that he's fine. And he'll give us the details about what happened. But the truth is, I'm very aware of the spin as I'm aware of the detractors. And I refuse to be caught by either of them. I just focus on the news that he was in an accident, and I'm very grateful that he's okay, and I pray that he makes it back onto tour. I still don't want to imagine the golf tour without Tiger Woods. But then there's another thing about famous people and celebrities, is that they do so much for brands that they endorse, sometimes inadvertently. Can you guess what Chrysler will be saying going forward about this specific vehicle that Tiger Woods was driving, and I suppose generally their vehicles? I can tell you now, they're going to subtly remind us about the safety of their cars. That today we have Tiger Woods alive thanks to their car. And rightfully so, they have to do that. Because similarly, had he gone down there and, God forbid, died, the detractors would have come out and say, you see how useless this car is? Just a small ravine the man falls into, then he dies. So they have to do the same. Tiger Woods and all celebrities are good for the brands they endorse, even during bad times. He was good for Nike. He still is good for Nike. What he did for Nike is unspeakable. When all brands dropped him, that he endorsed 5 years ago after his womanizing scandal, Nike stayed. Who could blame Nike? He changed the fortunes for Nike single-handedly. And that's what brands do. I know of golfers who became mini Tiger Woods of this world. They dressed like him. They bought the equipment that he used. They bought the clubs that he bought. I mean, Nike clubs became big. And when he stopped using them, they stopped using them. Well, they were also discontinued. I mean, now I've got friends who use the same ball that Tiger Woods uses, which is a Bridgestone. They used to use other balls. And Bridgestone is selling more balls than it has ever done in its life because Tiger Woods plays the Bridgestone. Now, if somebody hit you with a Bridgestone, I think Bridgestone could play around it and say, Tiger Woods doesn't hit it that way. Be careful how you play the Bridgestone. Use it like Tiger. But that's what celebrities do for brands. They have, though, an element of danger when they endorse programs and not products. Imagine if Tiger Woods was an endorser of a program for morality and he got involved in that scandal 5 years ago. That would be bad for the program. And that is why programs are slightly very careful about how they use celebrities and people who endorse them. But other than that, I can tell you now that there is no damage to any product that Tiger Woods endorses. In fact, and they will play carefully, of course, not to milk it too openly, but they will milk it. There is a brand here in South Africa called Nando's. If you want to know guys who play to anything that happens, it's Nando's. And mostly not even about the endorsers. I don't even think that they have an endorser. But they play to incidents very well. And that's what brands do, and they use events to plug in and promote their brands. So while we wait for the man to recover, and I know he will recover, he is Tiger Woods after all, he's got more than 9 lives, that's why he's a tiger. Be cognizant of the fact that he is the kind of guy that even when he walks out of that hospital, some brand will be thinking, how can we associate ourselves with this man? Either as a survivor or as a risk taker or whatever it is. But he is Tiger Woods. But somebody's bread is going to disappear and go to Tiger Woods' table. They could have been thinking about somebody else until that accident, and they think, no, our best man is Tiger, not the other guy who was getting ready to get the job. And that's how it works. It's the world of marketing and PR. What is going to work best for my brand? If in this case it's Tiger Woods, so be it. So Tiger, get well, mate. Thank you very much. You even gave me content for this episode. That's what celebrities and famous people do. I could have spoken about somebody else, but Tiger happened. So thank you very much for watching. Do continue to send your comments and your queries. I'll take emails on rams@kingmaker.co.za. And of course, if you want me to help you with any campaign, with any reputational matter, with your PR, I'm just an email away. Continue to spread the news and share. Until next time, goodbye.